Detective Lou here. Tonight I've got the information you need right in this case. Inside this case holds the object that you'll be looking for. Who the UA traitor is. In it, a toy handgun. Why specifically this gun? Well, if you take a closer look, it's a revolver. And there's only one person in UA who has this gun. Pro hero Snipe, also a teacher. There's more than one traitor. If you look again in this case, there's another object in there. And you might ask yourself, there's nothing. Well, that's your second answer. Toru, the invisible girl. Not only is there one traitor, but numero dos. Well, how did I end up with these answers? We'll start off first with the younger traitor, Toru Hakagure. Well, let's start with how did she pass the entrance exams? So this is where Snipe comes in, but more on him later. We'll talk about her abilities. Let's see, we've got stats of power 2, speed 3, technique 4, intelligence 4, cooperativeness 5. When you think about it, she ranked 18th in the quirk apprehension test, 16th in class 1A's grades, and 42nd on the UA Sports Festival, first year stage. When you hear this, you might just put it in the back of your head. Why does this matter, Detective Lou? Well, if you think about it, going back to her abilities, she has a 4 intelligence. Now, how in the world did she end up 16th in a class test? Is she purposely trying to put her in the lower rank to divert attention? The quirk apprehension test, she placed 18th. Now, that's 2 spots shy from last. With a technique of 4, I don't see that happening. And for the 42nd, she passed, but barely. It's like she's trying to look like she's struggling, but she's not. She's actually a villain. Going back to the entrance exam, when we think about Snipe, well, let's go over his abilities first. Let's see, he's got a 3 power, 3 speed, 6 technique.
That's a lot of damage!
4 in intelligence, and 3 in cooperativeness. Let's go over his quirk. He can control the trajectory of his bullets with perfect precision. Now, he also has a smoke grenade and a gas mask and modified guns. What seems strange about this is that when you think about the attack on the UA with Shigaraki leading his little troop, at the end of it, Snipe's the only person capable to inflict damage on Shigaraki. And with a quirk that precise and accurate, he did hit him in the arms and legs. But why didn't he hit Shigaraki in the spine? That would have commissioned him out. Even Snipe himself said that once his wounds heal, they'll be back. Why didn't Snipe permanently put Shigaraki in like a wheelchair? Well, maybe they're in cahoots with each other. Maybe Snipe's just trying to show everyone else that he's a hero by shooting Shigaraki, of course. Let's talk about Toru's quirk. Apparently, her quirk's invisibility. It's a mutant. But she used a special move where she bended light and used it to pass a provisional hero license exam by blinding her attackers. It shows that she really does have 4 out of 5 technique, but it makes you wonder if invisibility is really her quirk, or is it just light manipulation? Going off her mutant quirk, is she able to deactivate it? There is a panel where the girls ask what Toru looks like. She describes herself with 2 historical figures. That makes you wonder if how could she see herself if her invisibility is permanent? On a side note, both her families are also invisible. Makes you wonder if they're siblings, but we're not gonna go there. Toru can deactivate her invisibility because she has to. That's the only way she can see herself. She can't just look at a mirror and be like, "Oh, I see nothing." Well, it just doesn't make sense. So Toru, all this time, hasn't deactivated her quirk. Maybe it's because there's a villain behind that facade, and she doesn't want classmates knowing. Going to the Midoriya and Shigaraki mall incident, how did they coincidentally meet up? Who was the one to suggest going shopping? Toru. Toru was the first one. Makes you think. The exact same day, exact same time, the exact location, with Midoriya alone. Well, with Uraraka. It's just suspicious, but we'll just use that as another hint. Going more into the Snipe pro hero teacher, what would his motivation be to be a traitor? Let's quote him. Snipe states that students fighting robots are impractical if fights against villains are going to intensify. He notes that robots aren't challenging enough for the final exams, in which Toru and Dupli Arm Boy team up in pairs and cuff him down. They pass it, and makes you think how easy those two passed. It's like Snipe is favoring Toru. Maybe that's how she passed the entrance exam. Remember how Snipe has a gas mask and a gas grenade? Instead of just camping there and shooting, he could throw a gas, wait for movement, and shoot the rubber bullets. And I don't see why he didn't do that. It's like he's just standing there being distracted by Dupli Arm Boy while Toru cuffs him. That's a little bit suspicious with how easy she passed. It's like Snipes purposely letting her pass. That's what traitors would do. That's what spies would do. Well, going back to motivation, could it be that Snipe isn't actually a villain, but a double agent or a triple agent? While Aizawa looks through the draft forms, Snipe notices him and comments that Aizawa should make sure that the students don't regret their choice. Maybe what if Snipe is actually cahoots with the villains to make better heroes out of the students? Now, that would be whack. That would be whack. Well, think about it. He suggested that the students shouldn't fight against robots, which is also weird because Snipe knows that if Toru were to fight against robots, she wouldn't pass. So that's why he recommended to make the teachers act as villains. But going back to the motivation, when he talks about the draft forms, he must be thinking about Ida going against Stain. Now, Stain kills heroes. That just ends their potential. Now, Snipe is trying to grow the potential of his students, which just makes it so weird. Just a lot of coincidences. Not to mention Snipe has a 4 out of 5 intelligence, and always inputs remarks whenever there's a meeting. Moving on to the Beast Forest Camp, the one where the Vanguard Action Squad attacks. We don't really see where Toru is, especially on the map. Now, I can't stop twinkling. We know where is he at. He's just hiding in a bush. Toru, there's really not a mention. I don't even remember, going back to the anime, how she met up with the group or anything. It's like she disappeared. That's all I have. But maybe I'll meet you tomorrow night, if that sounds good. Well, Detective Lou out. See you tomorrow.